Welcome to Happy Learning. Now we are going to see Gestalt Theory of Learning, also known as Insight Learning Theory. Gestalt Psychology. Gestalt is a perspective focus on the belief that human consciousness cannot be broken into elements. This approach to psychology was founded on the concept of Gestalt or whole. Gestalt psychologists led to Max Wickdimmer 1880 to 1947, Wolfgang Kohler 1887 to 1967, and Kurt Kopfka 1886 to 1941 have made substantial contribution to our understanding of perception. Gestaltists pointed out that perception has meaning only when it is seen as whole. The whole word Gestalt is a German, literally means shape or figure. The whole is different from the sum of its parts. Here we can see the picture. Although this famous logo for the World Wildlife Federation is really just a collection of shapes, we make sense it through the Gestalt principle of figure, ground and closure. The main concept in this is learning takes place through insight. So what is insight? It means sudden grasping of the solution for a problematic situation, a flash of understanding which comes to us all on a sudden. It is the sudden awareness or perception of the essential relationship in a situation. Now, seeing the characteristics of insight. Insight is sudden. Insight alters perception. Old object appears in new patterns and organization by virtue of insight. Insight is relative to the intellectual level. The higher species of animals, including humans, being have more insight than the members of lower species. Insight, understand, is more useful than dexterity of hands. And this insight learning has been experimented, and that experiment was known as Kohler's experiment. It was done during the year 1945. Insight learning refers to the sudden realization of a solution of a problem after a period of mental manipulation of aspects of a problem for a while. Kohler experimented with Sultan the chimp, who was caged with food strategically placed outside the cage. Some boxes and sticks were placed in the cage. Through some manipulation of these objects, which got Sultan nowhere, he seems to suddenly figure out that the sticks would be joined to get the food. He used insight to solve similar problems. Kohler concluded that the insight development involves the following criteria. It is facilitated by previous experiences, involves little bit of trial and error behavior, closely related to intellectual development of learner, and it involves understanding and reasoning about the problem. Now coming to know the factors influencing insight. They are experience, intelligence, learning situations, initial efforts, repetition and generalization. Now we can see the steps in insight learning. The steps are: first one, identifying the problem. Second one, understanding the problem. Third, incubation of ideas. Fourth, trial of mode of response. Fifth one, sustained attention. Sixth one, insight development. Seventh, steady repetition of adaptive behavior. And last one is comprehension of ability. So by seeing the laws of learning, perception laws are important for a learner. Gestalt psychologists have outlined fundamental and universal principles, sometimes called law of perceptual organization. The laws are law of similarity, law of proximity, law of closure, and law of continuity. Here we can see the picture enlightens the similarity. In the typogram, it is just natural for us to see the O's as a line within a field of X. In proximity, we are much more likely to see 3 lines of close together stars, then 12 vertical collections of 3 stars each. In closure, we tend to ignore the breaks in the figure and concentrate on the overall form and have perceived it as a star. And lastly, in continuity, these 2 meeting angles are viewed not as a combination of angles, but as 2 crossing lines. So coming to the conclusion part, as a teacher, what are the educational implications we can express for our learners? 1. The teacher should present the subject matter as a whole to facilitate insight learning. 2. Use of blink-fumbling and mechanical trial and error should be minimized. 3. While planning the curriculum, Gestalt principles should be given due consideration. 4. Teacher should motivate the child by arousing his interest and curiosity. 5. It has made learning an intelligent task requiring mental ability instead of automatic response to specific stimuli. 6. Learning tasks must be properly graded according to the intellectual development of the learner. 7. In order that the learner will be able to solve problems by insight, meaningful learning, learner must understand, reasoning must be encouraged in the schools. And lastly, since insight depends upon the previous experience of the learner, the teacher must help learner recall what has been learned earlier and relate them to the new learning situations. Thank you very much. Be the best teacher.